Welcome everyone to the CCL Halftime Show. I'm Kyle Fergusson, and today I'm joined by Diamond Hands Nintorii, a bruiser player, or maybe a tank player? How's it going, Nintorii?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. For people who may not be aware of you or kind of your journey in Heroes, how would you describe it for everybody?
I mean, I mostly started out as just a Storm League player. I played a lot of support. I got noticed by some of the people who were playing through Open Division, so they picked me up on their team. I think it was Nesper and Talking Trees and Hami and a couple others. Played our way through the Open Division. I lost the first Crucible I played in, but the second one we played with Scythe Esports and we ended up winning that one. And then that was unfortunately the year that HEC got axed, so I never really got the chance to play, but the experience was still a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of cool people, and now I'm here. I obviously switched roles to offlane. That's what I've always enjoyed playing the most. So I'm just living my best life, soaking waves, having a lot of fun doing it.
I love getting to talk to offlaners. It's great to put you in the spotlight. We don't get to see you guys too much, except for in the late game. It's very heroic when you all roll in. So how did you go from support then to offlane?
I mean, I had always loved playing offlane.
Okay.
People who encountered me in Storm League probably know I was a bit of a Shen spammer back in the day. Unfortunately, they've gutted my boy, so we don't get to see him too much anymore. But I'd always really enjoyed playing offlane, but I think I probably had the most just sort of natural talent at support, and offlane kind of requires a lot of game knowledge, and I was still very fresh and green to the game at the time. So support was just the best role for me, but I mean, now since I started playing competitive, it's probably been like 4 years or so. So I've gotten to learn and grow a lot, and I think offlane is probably where I fit best at the moment. But
nice. How was Heroes your first MOBA then?
It was, yeah.
Nice.
And I after HCC got axed, I tried a bunch of the different MOBAs. I mean, I played a little bit of League, a little bit of Smite, and I mean, Heroes was just still my cup of tea. It was just what I enjoyed. So came back, played a bunch of Heroes Lounge and NGS, and was really hyped to see CCL come back or come into the fray. So super excited to be playing and still making a little bit of money now and then. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a very
cool. Where did the name Nintorii come from?
It doesn't have a very great origin story. I think I just I started playing video games on the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, so I kind of wanted to incorporate Nintendo into my name somehow.
Okay.
I'm not sure how we arrived at Nintorii, but it kind of just stuck, and we've been using it since. So
over the years, a few letters changed, and eventually we ended up here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you ended up participating in CCL Season 1. What was that story like then going into Season 3?
Yeah, it was just interesting because I was kind of an outsider in terms of, you know, the sort of role I played on Granite. Obviously I was the only NA player, and I mean, of course I still value my experience a lot, and it was amazing to get to play with some of those players. But it's a lot different on Diamond Hands because I've known a lot of these players for years now. So it definitely feels like we're having just a blast playing together. And even if we lose, I mean, we're still homeboys, so it's no biggie. We just improve and move on. We
certainly hear that in y'all's comms. Who on the team did you play with before? We got Gotfilth, Valimar, Caesar Salad, Kelsier.
Yeah, so Gotfilth I played with an NGS for a long time. Caesar Salad, me and him go way back. Used to be more of a competitor of mine. Me and his Open Division teams kind of used to butt heads, and we were sort of in combat, but it's glad to be on the same side as him. And then Kelsier I played with on 30K's Academy team last season, 30K Blue. That was a lot of fun too. I think pretty much all the main roster for 30K Blue is on a CCL team now, which is pretty awesome. Love to see that Academy team to pro pipeline. So, yeah. Very
nice. Where do you sort of plug into the team in terms of personality comms? Do you have a job outside of just, you know, soaking and making sure that double soak doesn't go awry?
Right now I'm doing most of our drafting. I think everyone helps with draft prep, but I guess I'm the final say, but I pretty much just let people play whatever they want. I'll just be more resistant depending on how much I hate the pick. But
okay,
yeah. Well, I like to have fun. I think I'm a pretty. I enjoy just improving the atmosphere and comms. I sometimes get a little bit tilted when people are having a little bit too much fun, but I try to only do that in real games. In scrims, I just let people go wild. But yeah, for the most part, everyone's kind of on the same page. We're all just here to have fun and play Heroes of the Storm. So
that seems very understandable. If you are the lead chef in the kitchen and you're putting together all the ingredients, but then maybe the cooking goes awry.
That's a good way to put it. If people aren't following the recipe, what can you do?
That's a very unique dynamic for the offlane to be that head drafter and then having to not only not watch so much as like hear what's going on in a distant land.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't really have like a very set shot calling system in game either. Like it's very much a team oriented shot calling system. People can call whatever they want, whenever they want. But it ends up working out most of the time. Still got some improvements to make, but
that's great. So then you would be the one I ask about the Johanna then. What
you could.
What happened there? What was the secret ingredient that made Johanna so great this past weekend?
She's ungankable, especially if you are a steed charger. She has great wave clear. She has great damage. Her ults are insane. I think that's one thing that is a little peculiar about the offlaners that are currently meta, is that a lot of their ults aren't very good, or they're like sort of self-oriented. I mean, they can be good in certain situations, but I think the tanks' ults are across the board a lot more powerful. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know you've played a lot of Diva and Malthael in the past, and those are certainly a bit more reserved in comparison to someone like Johanna, where you were just kind of going wherever you want.
Exactly.
So you ended up, Steed Charge being a talent that isn't very popular in kind of our home game environments and our stat websites, but something you really showed off this. Yeah, I know. You were showing it off this last weekend, but I think one of the real sort of up-and-comers that you were showing off was the improved damage on level 1 and the poke potential, the damage potential of Johanna in that role.
Yeah, I don't know why they buffed the damage. It was already the best talent in like 90% of games, so it's even better now. And the fact that you have, I think it's 125% more damage on your E makes her just an insane offlaner. You can almost nuke waves pre-13, and then after 13, you see a wave and it's deleted within seconds.
So we went through our first 2 games, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Johanna map. Alterac Pass, not a Johanna map there. So what kind of concoction was brewing up there for Alterac?
Yeah, well, you always have the option to pivot the Johanna into tank or offlane, which is really nice. So we picked it just sort of generically in the first pick, and then we saw the Tracer. We saw what's the other DPS? Falstad? I don't entirely remember, but it was mostly the Tracer. We have a super good matchup into, the Uther Tracer, so we just go with the Uther main tank. It essentially becomes a Joe offlane, and I'm just catching all the soak, and pray we win the team fights. So ends up working pretty well. It's a very flexible pick.
And what changed in game 3 with Towers of Doom that wasn't working out anymore?
I think we just had too many bad matchups in the 4-man. Tyrael does not do great into Medivh. Junkrat, we don't have that much damage to kill their front line. So yeah, just a bit of a rough game. Could have been any offlane. I think we lose, unfortunately.
So anything you're brewing up for Chili Mountain this weekend?
I think it's going to be more or less a lot of the same formulas. They love their Voila and whatnot, so we should be mostly on the same page with like the offlane Johanna and stuff. But yeah, more of the same. Probably we'll keep scrimming. We'll see if any new developments occur. But
and going towards the playoffs now, there's going to be a pretty hefty little break for the players. Anything y'all are planning on working on in that in-between?
Just got to keep playing the game and grinding it out. We saw that obviously Sim was one of the sort of bottom of the ladder teams in season 1, and they grinded super hard over that Christmas break and ended up making a huge push into the playoffs. So we want to put ourselves in a similar spot to be able to make that jump and start beating the top tier teams. Obviously, we came pretty close with simplicity. Games were a little rough first 30K, but hopefully we can just keep practicing, grinding.
Well, as we head towards the end here, any shout outs you'd like to do?
Yeah, of course, shout out to my org, Diamond Hands. Thank you so much for the CCL staff, players, production staff. It's been a super awesome experience. Privileged to be able to play for 2 seasons. And shout out to CPX, twitch.tv/freepx. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the upcoming matches. Everyone stay tuned. Those matches are coming up next. Enjoy.